and justice for all.
Okay. Kathy, we will roll, please.
Chelsea here, Dean Cruz.
Here.
Walker.
Here.
Ryan Cruz.
Here.
Ball. Here. Stanley.
Here.
Owens.
Here. Okay, under the meeting agenda for tonight, we have under communications and announcements, item A, charter communications, new channels positions. Item B, charter communications, deleted channel positions. C is announcement of Coldwell Banker commercial premier. D, Manistee County Planning Commission feasibility study announcement letter. E is the Ragnar, Michigan 2017 race, which will be September 29th and 30th. And F, Kathy, we will roll announcement. Under department and committee reports, we have item A, the water department report. B is the fire department report, with consideration there for approval of a list of officers and personnel for 2017. Item C is Office of the Zoning Administrator's report. D is the Planning Commission minutes. E, the Board of Review minutes. F is the Building and Grounds Committee minutes. G, PEG Commission. H is the DDA minutes. And under item I, the Personnel Committee, we have two items there. Number one, consideration of approval of the Personnel Committee's recommendation to increase the hourly wage of Zoning Administrator Larry Thompson, who is finishing a 90-day probationary employment period on June 12th. Item two, consideration of approval of the Personnel Committee's recommendation to increase the hourly wage of Tammy Shimke, the water billing clerk and receptionist. J is the sewer project. Item under new business, we have item A, consideration of approval of the cost of $2,900 to Robert Anderson Group to report sound levels and data to be performed the first week in June of the second TES cogeneration plant's sound study. B is weight trim bid results and contractor award for the Charter Township of Filer DDA wastewater system. C is consideration of approval of resolution number 9, conditionally awarding contract for construction of the sanitary sewer collection system and rescinding all resolutions in conflict herewith. D is approval to place a newspaper advertisement seeking applicants for the township. A, one planning commission member to serve a 3-year term ending December 31st of 2020. B is 2 downtown development authority members to serve 4-year terms ending December 31st of 2021. C is 1 board of appeals for an unexpired term ending December 31st, 2018. D is 1 building and grounds committee for an unexpired term ending December 31st of 2021. E is 1 personnel committee. Position is currently vacant for an unexpired term ending December 31st of 2021. Item E is the adoption of MTA principles of governance for Charter Township of Filer. F is approval to return the check to the Manistee County Medical Care regarding the PCA tax tribunal. G is approval for a fireproof storage cabinet to store flammable and hazardous materials in the Filer Township garage with an expenditure not to exceed $1,100. H is approval for a pressure washer with expenditure not to exceed $500 between the Filer Charter Township Fire Department and the City of Manistee Department of Public Safety. J is consideration of approval of a special assessment resolution number 4 establishing the total amount to be assessed against the taxable value of the DDA Sewer Special Assessment District established by special assessment resolution number 3 dated November 14th, 2016, and the basis for assessment, ordering the township supervisor to prepare a special assessment roll, scheduling of a public hearing and notice thereof, and rescinding all resolutions in conflict herewith. Item K is consideration of approval of the introduction of an ordinance to amend the Charter Township of Filer Code of Ordinances by establishing the charges for connecting to the Charter Township of Filer sewer system.
That's coming off.
And that one, yes, that one we need to remove. That's not ready yet. And I'd like to replace that with a new item K, which would be approval to expend $2,107 to Kowalski Distributing Company for the purchase of an assortment of office equipment, and you have that. I think it was placed in front of you. Can't find my own copy now. Yeah, I don't think I have that one here, but or I might have stuck it over. I think I may have stuck it over in my packet. So I think I stuck it in. So with that one change, unless there are any other changes that you wish to make, additions, if not, I would entertain a motion for approval of the agenda for tonight.
I so move.
Second. Motion by Cruz, support by Koloneski to approve the meeting agenda for tonight. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Under the consent agenda for tonight, we have item A, the minutes of the regular board meeting held May 2nd, 2017. B is the financial report. C, approval of the township general fund expenditures, including the fire department. Those include checks 34597 through 34696, with accounts payable totaling $72,659.98. Payroll totals $13,584.02 for a grand total of $86,244. Item D is approval of the water department expenditures. Checks number 2370 through 2382 totaling $44,727.87. E is approval for Township Board of Trustee members to attend the Michigan Townships Association 2017 Professional Development Retreat. The clerk's retreat is July 19th through 20th. Treasurer's retreat is 25th through the 26th of July. The supervisors is July 27th through 28th. And the trustees is August 5th through 6th at the Bavarian Inn Lodge and Conference Center at a cost of $299 per person plus travel and accommodations. Item F is approval of the fire department appreciation dinner to be held at the Filer Township Rec Center on October 15th, 2017 at a cost of $19 per person, catered by Zupan's Catering. Item G is approval of the approval of a free used desk from Boyer Agency. Item H is approval of a budget amendment transferring $30,000 from the general fund balance to capital outlay for 2111 Nelson Street office building. And if there are no changes necessary on the consent agenda, I would entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move.
I second.
Motion by Ball, support by Steggy to approve the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay. Under the communications and announcements, assuming you have read those, the only one that I'd like to really mention, because I had an email from Rick Mark asking me to put that on the agenda, the annual ARRL Field Day announcement, and that is going to be held this year at the Gilroy's, out front of Gilroy's hardware store in the parking lot. And he figured you might get some questions from township people wanting to know what's going on, because there's going to be a crane place there, one of Zach Zupan's cranes for the purpose of providing a sky hook for the group's antennas. And also to invite everyone to stop in if you would like to and see what's going on, get questions answered. The communication kind of explains the organization, and I know they've done this the past several years. I want to say last year they did it out at Lagoon, maybe the year before, but at any rate, you were invited to stop by the group, so like I said, the flyer kind of tells what the ARRL field day is all about. Moving on to the reports you've got in your packet. Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. Public comment.
Just want to say, had a great meeting with Jim yesterday, Lake Night Association here, and appreciate his efforts. We're eagerly looking forward to working with him on this project, and look forward to see it get done as soon as we can. So that's it.
Thank you. Del, nothing tonight? Okay, Waitron's monthly report is in your packet, and you probably are all aware that we're having the Red Apple Road Water Tower interior wet renovation being done, and as that water tower is at a higher elevation than the one here, plus it's a higher tower, plus it's a 300,000 gallon tank compared to 250 here, it provides about 3/5 of the water for the township. And if you've noticed a decrease in your water pressure, that's why. They are working very hard to get it done as quickly as possible. I'd initially given them a deadline, tell them I wanted it done by the end of the month because we didn't want to get into the 4th and still be dealing with that low water pressure. And through a few phone calls to the engineer and Dan Kitchen, who we signed the contracts with, kind of jacked them up a little bit, and then I went on site a couple times, and their crew chief is pretty good. Seems like a real nice guy, and they've spent the last 3 days, I think, working 13-hour days, and they're sensitive to our concerns. He told me they would have the sandblasting done. I think I stopped up there on Tuesday last, and they're going to have it done the next day, and I was informed that it is done. Cleaning the sand out of the tank, and then they've got to do the stripe coating and the painting, which is about typically a 3-day process, but it's very dependent upon the weather conditions. But he assured me that barring any weather issues, they will be done by the middle of next week, which is great. That's ahead of where we talking with Mike initially about it. He thought they probably wouldn't be finished up for a couple more weeks yet. And I got a text one morning from Mike early that he said there's nobody there on site. And that was about, I don't know if that was Monday of this week or Friday last week. That's when I got on the horn with some of the higher ups, and then I got a call back within about 45 minutes and explained that their compressor was down. That's why they weren't there. But he said they're on site now, and that was probably around between 9 and 9:30 in the morning. So I got in the truck and drove up there, and they were there working. So they're very responsive. And Mike, once they're done with their part of it, Mike needs about 5 days probably to put a tank, get tested, drain it, refill it, get it tested again, and then put it back online. So hopefully by probably, what's today, the 8th, I'm guessing that we're going to be back online by the 21st at the latest, hopefully for that, barring any, anything unforeseen or bad weather, so. Anyway, if you've been getting questions, I know Tammy's got some calls about the water pressure, and I've had a few people that have asked me what's going on, so that's the scoop on that. Fire department, Logan?
Most of you don't know who I am. I'm Logan Scara. Calls for service this month are up fairly high, 35. There's 27 medical runs, 5 fire, 2 vehicle crashes, and then some of you probably read in the paper, seen on the news, they did the airport-wide training exercise, and we did partake in that. You guys should all have a copy. I believe Jim said he sent it to all you about the city mutual aid agreement. Just a few minor changes in that. That being that the city wants to send us their engine 652 instead of their ladder truck on a residential fire versus getting their ladder truck in some of these residential spots. It's normally pretty tight getting it out. If it's a commercial building, they'll send that, be the first truck out. And the only other thing in there would be some verbiage and dates that were pretty repetitive that we all sat down, Heath Darling, myself, Jim Escovic, and new city chief, Tim. So if you guys look at that, and that'll need approval. Like Scott said, they're working on the Lakeland Association project. That should be forthcoming with a plan for the board on that. Hopefully get that approved and in the works. And then also there should be fire department roster approval. Not too much has changed. We gained a few new people. I got a couple people in training. They tested out last Saturday for fire. So a couple weeks we'll hear how they did on written and go from there. A couple officers have changed since Ron stepping down. Jerry O'Brien would be the fire lieutenant. I'd be the assistant chief, and everybody else would still be the same. But other than that, that is all I have.
Okay, thank you, Logan. And you would like us to formally approve this roster?
Please.
I'll make a motion that we approve the fire department's personnel roster presented tonight.
Also.
Okay, we have a motion by Walker, supported by Cruz and Kutuski to approve. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Yeah, and the mutual aid agreement we'll be dealing with in the new business. So.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Logan. Item C, you have Larry's report there. And of course, the biggest thing going on there is the TDS change over to gas. D, you have the planning commission's minutes in your packet, and again, just a reminder, there will be a public hearing on that on the TDS on the 20th of this month. Board of review minutes, item E, item F, the building and grounds committee minutes are in your packet. PEG Commission, item G. Now, Rose, if there's anything you have to report from the PEG, okay. H, you have the DDA minutes in your packet, and just a note that a couple of you attended the DDA after hours on Tuesday of this week. It was a real nice affair, and there was discussion at the DDA meeting this afternoon about doing another one of those in the not too far distant future, and possibly they'll discuss looking at maybe doing those twice a year. But we've first got to find a way to get some businesses to attend those, and I think we will. But it was a real nice affair. Brian was there, did a really nice presentation on the sewer project, and Tamara talked about the rezoning that we're looking to do in the commercial district, form-based zoning, so it was a good affair. It would have been better if we had some business people there, but I think we are fighting a little bit of a battle where we have a lot of non-local owners, and then local managers that aren't probably quite as invested as if the owner of the business lived here in the township. But anyway, moving on, the Personnel Committee minutes are in your packet, and we have two recommendations from the Personnel Committee. They're recommending a pay increase in Larry Thompson's pay to $17 per hour. He completes his probationary period on the 12th, so that'll be next week. His 90-day probationary period is up, and the Personnel Committee is proposing that we increase his pay to $17 per hour.
I'll make a motion to increase his pay.
I would second.
Okay, motion by Brian Cruz, support by Hall, to increase Larry Thompson's pay to $17 per hour. Any discussion?
I think he deserves it.
Yeah, he's doing an excellent job, and he got a very good review.
Because if you have a question, the answer is.
We're, well, you all know what we went through trying to find a place to fill in. We've got somebody with just good background and experience, and he's doing a good job, so I agree with you on that. So, Kevin, you can call the roll.
Yep. Walker,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Kolowski,
Yes.
Steggy,
Yes.
Kowski, yes, Ryan,
Yes.
Ball,
Okay, item 2 is consideration of approval of the Personnel Committee's recommendation to increase the hourly wage of Tammy Shimke, our water billing clerk / receptionist. They're proposing an increase to $12 per hour, again, based on her excellent annual review. And she is doing, I think, a great job for us. She's a hard worker, and she gets things done.
I so move.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Dean Cruz, support by Brian Cruz, to approve the Personnel Committee's recommendation to increase Tammy Shimke's hourly wage to $12 per hour. And that would be effective, I didn't write that down here, but her date of hire is a July date, anniversary date. I can't remember what it is, but it's, I know it's July.
and when does Larry's,
Larry's is
immediate, I'm thinking immediate, June 12th.
yeah, Larry's is June 12th.
And June 12th.
Yeah. And I know I have a date, pending, but I thought I'd written it on here. So, yeah, on her anniversary date. I couldn't believe that she'd been here a year already.
I know.
Man. We just hired her. So anyway, we have a motion and a support on the floor. Any further discussion? Okay. Kathy, call the roll, please.
Yes.
Kolowski,
Yes.
Dean Cruz,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Steggy,
Yes.
Kowski, yes, Ball, yes.
Okay, item J, the sewer report. Brian, do you want to say anything at this point, or you want to wait till the...
I'll wait till the
business
agenda.
item? Okay. Okay, we'll move right on to new business then. Item A is consideration of approval of the cost of $2,900 to the Robert Anderson Group to do another sound level report or study at the TES cogeneration plant. This one is the locations were at the property line at
I so move.
I'll second.
okay, we have a motion by Cruz, support by Steggy to approve the Robert Anderson sound study at the cost of $2,900. Discussion?
I think we have to, you
Well, the planners requested it.
Right.
They wish that they had thought of the other 2 points, 2 locations when the first study was done, but it didn't happen.
What's the total amount?
Well, this one's 2,900.
And the other one was less, wasn't it?
38.
The other one was 3,800?
I think the other one was 29, but then there was another for them coming in with a presentation.
Right.
That comes out of
Total of 38 for the two.
This comes out of the escrow. fee.
Right, this is out of the escrow account, so. Any other discussion? Kathy, go ahead. Roll call.
Gutowski, yes. Walker,
Yes.
Kalinsky,
Yes.
Ball, yes. Stuckey,
Yes.
Reinhardt,
Yes.
Jean Cruz.
Yes.
Okay, item B, weight trim bid results and contractor award for Charter Township of Filer DDU wastewater system. Ryan, you're up.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Brian Souza from Weight Trim. Everybody should have had in their packet a little letter outlining the bid opening that we did for the sewer project on June 1st. I do need to make one correction, and Richard was nice enough to point that out to me. Item number, after the first paragraph, it says item number 1, Elmer's Crane and Dozer, and then it gives a bid. $2,665,189.46. That's supposed to be $198.46. I transposed the 8 and the 9. I've got it right on the notice of award, and Richard's got it corrected now on the other information, so apologize for that. So just go through what we've done recently. We had opened bids for the project on the 1st of June. The bids that came in under budget, so we're sitting good with budget. If you guys recall, the DDA had pledged to pay for a portion of the project to connect the business owners to the system. The DDA would pay for that cost. They had set aside around $500,000 for that. The cost for those items came in under that. I think there were $390,000 is what that cost came in at, so we're sitting good with that. So all around, the way this came in, we're good with the budget. So what you have in front of you now is a letter that outlines the process. It outlines the bid received. We only received 1 bid. And the reason for that is a lot of the contractors that would have bid on this are busy. And we had calls from some of those contractors asking if we could postpone it. We can't because of the schedule around rural development, but it's a good time to be a contractor right now. There's a lot of work out there. So 6 years ago would have been a different story. But anyways, Elmer's is a great company. I mentioned this at some of the other meetings that if I was to pick one contractor that I'd hope to bid on it and we would win it, it would be Elmer's. They do great work. They've got a lot of staff and a lot of equipment. And they know what's important in communities. Most of their work is municipal work, so very familiar with underground water and sewer. They do a ton of it. So we've gotten approval from rural development. Took the bids, got approval from rural development to award the project to Elmer's. And now the next step is for the township board to make that award to Elmer's. So what I'm hoping for tonight at the end of this agenda item is a motion to award the project to Elmer's. And then what will happen is that will set in motion several things. First of all, I issue a notice of award to the contractor, and that tells him, hey, you've won the project, but now you need to pull your bonds and insurance forms together and get those submitted. It also kicks off Richard and the bond attorney and some others in getting together a bond sale and completing that, some other ordinance information, so that we can get to an endpoint. We call it an endpoint. It's more like a starting point. Endpoint of the documentation of starting point for construction. We would expect that to start. Expect the contractor to start work in August, beginning of August. So typically it's about a 2-month process between bid opening and start of construction on a rural development project where we have to have a bond sale. So we're still running down the road and meeting that schedule. That doesn't mean there can't be a hiccup in some of that process somewhere along the way, but I don't expect it.
Brian, Andy Granscott's letter to Terry also has the wrong number. I don't know if we need to fix that or somebody.
I'll notify. Yeah, it does.
They're going to audit that and find we're $11 off. And
I'll note that to Andy. It won't be an issue with the award. Yeah, but I'm glad you brought it up. because it would have came out in the wash eventually.
Yep, yep.
So, better to do it now.
And you and I be splitting it
Right.
$5.50 a piece.
So, any questions? Before we get into that, what I expect for schedule, once they start construction, what I expect to happen is contractor would put in the sewer mains along US 31 this fall, beginning of winter, and then would come back in the spring and then start connecting the businesses to that sewer main. Unless Elmer's decides they want to get it all done this spring, because they're a company that's big enough to do that. But I haven't gotten a schedule from them yet, and rightly so, we haven't awarded the project to them yet, that's what we're doing tonight. But what I expect is that they would put in the sewer mains this fall and then come back and do service leads in the spring. So you probably wouldn't, as a business owner, you wouldn't be using the system really until next spring, early summer. We would probably be closing the project out about a year from now, is what I would expect.
They would, though, start this fall.
Oh, yeah,
They
absolutely.
want to push it off till next year.
No, because when we issue the notice to proceed, after the bond sale is done, well, what we do on that same day, we have the bond closing, and we have the pre-construction meeting, and there's a whole bunch of documentation goes along with that, but that's all in one day. That would be done here. And once we issue the notice to proceed, and at the pre-con meeting, they have a certain number of days to start the project. Yeah, and they're aware of that.
Depend on the weather too.
Yeah, weather dependent, although this project, it's in a good location as far as soils go. I mean, if we were working in rain on a clay site, they wouldn't work, they'd quit. On a sandy site like this, probably keep moving. Unless they've been working overtime and they want a day off, then that's an excuse. It's good soil material here to keep working through, for sure. So the disruption that you'll see, probably the biggest disruption of businesses will be this fall, when we're crossing the driveways and entrances to those businesses with the sewer main. Sewer main is mostly on the east side of US 31. There's a couple where we come across the road, because we have to search some of those areas on the west as well. But for all intents and purposes, most of that work is on the east side of 31.
What side of 28th Street?
South side of 28.
12-inch mains and 6-inch laterals?
That's correct, 12-inch mains and 6-inch laterals. It's a little oversized, but I wanted to do that because this is the first sewer. Any sewer you guys add from now until Kingdom Come will have to come through here, and I didn't want it to be too small in 50 years. So I don't want you to have to tear it up and put in new sewers in a commercial district, because it'll be built up much heavier than it is now. Any questions?
Brian, I just got the letter this afternoon from Andy Grant Scott. Are you going to notify him of
I
that
am
change?
going to notify him.
Or-
Yep.
Okay,
First thing tomorrow.
all right.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Well, I don't see that here. Any other questions of Brian? We're going to let him hit the road and get back home.
Yeah, I can wait till this agenda item's done, but
Yeah.
after we're done.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, then that brings us to item C, which is consideration of approval of resolution number 9, conditionally awarding contract for construction of the sanitary sewer collection system and rescinding all resolutions in conflict herewith. Dean, you're up.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Dean Cruz, support by Brian Cruz to approve resolution number 9, awarding the contract for construction of the sanitary sewer collection system and rescinding all resolutions in conflict herewith. Any discussion? Okay, Catherine?
Dean Cruz.
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Spade.
Yes.
Brian Cruz.
Yes.
Kalanowski.
Yes.
Gutowski. Yes. Walker.
Yes.
Gary, quickly, who made the motion? Dean?
Dean?
Dean Cruz, supported by Brian Cruz.
Great.
Thank you. We're off and running now.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions anywhere?
Couple generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has only been going on for what, 25 years or something?
That we know of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
Drive safe.
I will, thank you.
A little slower going back?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
A little slower going
A
back.
little slower, yeah. Yeah, you can tell the story now after I'm out here.
Ryan texted me asking the time of the meeting, and I had asked him to be at the DDA meeting as well, and he said, meeting at 6, right? And I said, 4 meetings at 6. And this was about, well, when I stopped back up here, I was leaving. What time was that?
Yeah.
Close to 4.
Yeah, he
texted
texted
back
me the
and he
last
said, "I'll be
REU at 3:47.
Okay. And then he hit the road. After that, had to be walking from his office on the 2nd and 3rd floor down to the
Yep.
parking lot. He did say he had some sign language on the way down here from somebody, so. Okay. Item D, approval to place a newspaper advertisement seeking applicants for the following township positions. And most of these aren't expiring until December. So I guess there's one or two that we could fill immediately if we got applicants.
Personnel and building and grounds still need people.
Yeah.
The ones are going to not be coming until the end of the year.
Yeah, and so I guess, any thoughts that you have on placing this ad? We could do it all right now. With, you know, the notice in the ad that the terms don't start then until,
No, we don't want to do, we don't want to do that till November when we do the rest of
okay,
it.
well, that's what I was gonna say. The other thing is we could split this up into 2 ads. Do one ad right now for the ones that we're
Are
looking for
vacant,
right now,
right.
that are vacant, and do the others later. Or if we do them all right now, then we've got to notice that they're not, if they apply for a position, they're applying for.
He looked at this, the minutes from a year ago.
Okay, I wondered
She
where that
noticed.
came from. Yeah, I went through the list today and I jotted down when all of these expired and who they are, and I thought, we shouldn't be advertising these right now.
Right. What she had looked at is the ones that we tried to fill after Ed passed away.
Okay.
So she was going on, well, what happened a year ago, we should be doing it at this time this year.
Yeah,
And
so,
that's why.
One on the fence.
so all we really need then is for the Building and Grounds Committee
And personnel.
and the Personnel Committee. There's a vacancy on each of those. It's been vacant. That was filled, both of those were filled by Ed
Right.
until he passed. So let's make the motion and so forth for just items D and E then, and the others we'll deal with in the fall.
I would make a motion.
I'll support it.
Okay, so we have a motion by Ball, supported by Gutowski to place a newspaper advertisement seeking applicants for 1 Building and Grounds Committee person for an unexpired term ending December 31st of 2021, and 1 Personnel Committee vacancy for an unexpired term ending December 31st of 2021 also. Any discussion? Okay, all of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item E is information in your packet on, provided by MTA on the MTA Principles of Governance for the Charter Township of Filer. Looking at adopting those principles, and you know, when you read that over, you know, basically I think it's the way we try to operate.
We've done this in the past, but this is a new board.
Okay, this is
So
a
they're extending.
renewal of the
Right,
past
renewal.
policy then, so, yeah, with new people in place, I guess it makes sense.
I'll make a motion, we go there.
So we have a
Oh,
motion by Stady, support by Kalinowski,
Yeah.
to approve and adopt the MTA principles of governance for the Charter Township of Fire. Any discussion?
Just a note that every member or every board member has to sign this paper.
Yeah.
So before you leave tonight, if you would sign this form and we can get that noted.
Okay, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item F is approval to return the check for $676, is that right? To the Manistee County Medical Care. They came in with the check, I think I talked about you about that, the day that we held the meeting to clarify and answer questions, and then following that, they brought a check that day. Following that meeting, the county commissioners voted to not support the township in that tax appeal that we went through the PCA, and so my thought was it's just the right thing to do to return it to them. Very good.
I'll make the motion that we send the money back.
And I'll support that motion. So we have a motion by Brian Cruz, support by Walker, to return the check to Manistee County Medical Care that they gave us in support of the PCA tax treatment. We might need to, we're continuing to get a letter together and send that back. Item G is approved. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we need to vote on that one. No further discussion. All those in favor of the motion on the floor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item G is approval for a fireproof storage cabinet to store flammable and hazardous materials in the Filer Township garage. With expenditure being not more than $1,100. This came as a suggestion at Building and Grounds meeting, and actually the day that Bob and I were out at Lagoon Creek taking a tree down and cracked over the trail. When we went to his place to get his chainsaws, he had them all in a fireproof cabinet with the gas cans and all that. He said, we should really have one. And then that, you know, it kind of...
Actually, we're supposed to have it.
Well, it's not a requirement, but it was a suggestion of our insurance company that came through last year. Talked about the flammables in the garage, and we really should have those contained in something. Again, it wasn't, he said, you know, it wasn't a requirement on our policy, but it only makes sense. You know, it's another small insurance policy against a fire. Bob said that, as he recalled, he purchased his at a cost of, he thought it was $800. He couldn't remember when, but he guessed it was in the neighborhood of 6 to 8 years ago. So I'm sure the price is going to be up, but he felt like we should still be able to get one for under $1,100. So that was the figure we picked.
I'll make the motion to go ahead and get one up to 1,100.
I'll second.
Motion by Cullen, support by Brian Cruz, to approve the purchase of a fireproof storage cabinet for flammable and hazardous materials in the township garage at a cost not to exceed $1,100. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item H is approval for a pressure washer at a cost not to exceed $500. That also came from the Building and Grounds through discussion of, we're looking at having John paint the basketball court, tennis court here at Oak Hill Park this summer. It's in dire need of it. I did go to War Hardware and check on paint that would suit that purpose. And I haven't ordered the paint yet, but Don gave me a price of, he said the price that he quoted me off his computer was $35 a gallon, but he said he thinks he can get it less than that. And I don't know how many gallons of paint it would take, but the before it's painted, that court's gonna have to be pressure washed. And then we also have some, the siding at the 2111 Nelson Street office building needs pressure washing as well. And so we figured this maybe ought to be the time to purchase one. And so that's the reason for that on the agenda.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
I'll support.
We have a motion by Ball, supported by Tusky, to approve the purchase of a pressure washer for a cost not to exceed $500. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item I is consideration of approval of the mutual aid agreement for automatic mutual aid between the Charter Township Fire Department and the City of Manistee Department of Public Safety. You have that mutual aid agreement in your packet. And you have read that over. I guess if you have questions on that, you could address those to Logan right now. And I know George helped to develop this.
Yeah, I think Tim, the new guy at the city. Tim and George and
Yeah.
maybe Jim Espendick, I think, sat down with
Tim and Heath and Jim and myself sat down and
Okay.
they forwarded it on to George and
Yep.
went that way about it.
I'll make a motion to accept that agreement.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Brian Cruz, support by Dean Cruz, to approve the mutual aid agreement for automatic mutual aid between the Charter Township Fire Department and the City of Manistee Department of Public Safety. Any other discussion or questions on that? Okay. All those in favor of the motion on the table signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Item J is consideration of approval of a special assessment resolution number 4, establishing the total amount to be assessed against the taxable value of the DVA Sewer Special Assessment District, established by Special Assessment Resolution number 3 dated November 14, 2016, and the basis for assessment, ordering the township supervisor to prepare a special assessment roll, the scheduling of the public hearing and notice thereof, and rescinding all resolutions in conflict herewith.
And you may have 2 copies of this. The one you want to look at is the one that's got the colored map on the last page.
One you handed out.
Yeah, the one I handed out just before the meeting.
With the K for Kathy.
The one that has K for Kathy, yes. In all 3 locations. After we got the bids in the other day, we had a conference call earlier this week with Tom Traciak, the township's financial consultant, Pat McGow, our bond counsel, Brian, myself, Terry, went over the bids, went over the project budget. Tom Traciak is recommending that out of the entire project, that we collect $1,525,000 out of the special assessment district. And so that is the number that is inserted there in paragraph 1. The REUs, or the residential equivalent units, being assigned to the parcels in the district are also attached as exhibit, I think it's exhibit C. This is the same, basically the same matrix that you have seen previously that Abamarsh developed back in 2012. It has been substantially updated in the sense that it no longer includes the Pine Ridge condominiums, the residences at the south end of the DDA district, and the jailhouse bar, and the residents on the other side of, what is that, Madison Street?
28th Street.
No, the one going north and south, Nelson, thank you, right.
And we had residents who live in Nelson Street.
And Nelson
Previous
Street
one.
isn't
They were on
anywhere near
28th
Brookfield.
Street,
28th Street.
Well, it's on 28th Street, but it's on the other side of Nelson,
on the east side of Nelson.
on the east side of Nelson. Those were originally part of the district because the sewer line was going to go to that intersection.
Right.
And they were
Okay.
going to be within 200 feet or
Right.
300 feet of that. So, but we decided at the last special assessment to take them off, so they're, and the map now accurately shows the parcels in the district, including the parcels that the township recently purchased. I did the quick math, that comes out to about $2,700 per REU. That's going to be payable over 40 years at an interest rate equal to, and that should also be stated in here.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's in the last sentence in paragraph 2. They'll bear interest at a rate 1% in excess of the rate on the bonds to be issued hereafter to the United States of America Rural Utility Services. I think that is 2.75 right now, so the special assessment will be at 3.75. And of course, you can pay that early if you want. The way, because of the way the bonds get paid, unlike your mortgage where you have sort of a self-amortizing payment and you have lots of lots of interest and a little bit of principal early on, and then the interest starts to go down, the principal starts to build up. The bonds get paid at a fixed rate every year, and so we need to collect that so that the annual assessment, the assessment is going to be $2,700 and some change, but the annual installment will be a flat rate plus interest. And so if you spread your payment out over 40 years, the payment the first year is going to be pretty good size, and then the payment will shrink every year as you pay off, as the bonds get paid off, and as the special assessment gets paid off. And so, I'm trying to do the math here real quick. Say it's $2,500, and we pay $50 a year. Your first year assessment will be $50 plus all of the interest. Second year's installment will again be $50 principal plus a little less interest.
Plus the interest and what's left.
On what's left, right. So you'll have constant principal payments, declining interest payments, and so your total payments will decrease over the 40 years, unlike a mortgage where you would have a level payment. But the REUs are calculated there. The statute requires the supervisor to prepare the roll. He will obviously consult with Tom and Molly. The last time I spoke to Molly, she had the roll pretty well started. Was waiting for this resolution to be adopted and have a calculation of the amount that gets assessed. And we have asked Terry has to report the roll back and has to file it with you, Kathy, by the 29th of June. Terry, when that gets done, there's a certificate that you have to sign that goes with that. Let me know, I'll get the certificate prepared. And then we will have another public hearing on the confirmation of the roll. And that will be held July 13th at 7 o'clock. This is all in your resolution. We give the same notice. It has to be published twice in the paper. The notice will get mailed out to all of the parties in the special assessment district. Then at the end of that process, after the public hearing, the township will need to take one more act, and that will be to confirm the roll after the hearing. If there are some errors in the roll, if there are adjustments that you feel need to be made to the REUs that are being assigned and so on, that can all happen either at the meeting or immediately after the hearing. Pat McGow, our bond counsel, made a suggestion during our conference call the other day. Because people have 35 days after the hearing to file an appeal if they don't like their assessment with, file an objection and then an appeal to the Michigan Tax Tribunal. He generally recommends that we wait 35 days, which is the appeal period, before we actually take the action to confirm the roll. So we may be doing that at the August meeting instead of the July meeting. Of course, the July meeting is going to be ahead of the hearing anyway. But we'll have a good sense by the August meeting whether anybody is so upset by these things that they're going to file an objection, and what the basis of that objection is. Once the roll is confirmed, then we can go to the bond closing. And as Brian described earlier in the meeting, that is about a 3 or 4 hour process. Andy Granskog, the state engineer from Rural Development, will come up from Lansing. Pat McGow will be here, or send somebody from his office. Blake Smith will be here. We will go through the project with the contractor. We'll talk about dates. We'll talk about any issues, road closings, that kind of stuff. Sort of it's called a pre-construction meeting, just to sort of get everybody on the same page. Once that is completed, then we will issue the bonds. We'll be in touch with you, probably Kathy and Tom, before then to get the bank accounts set up. Blake may have already been in touch with you, I don't know about that. But we've got to set up several bank accounts for this, to receive the construction funds, to put in the reserves and so on. So there will be a lot of administrative stuff sort of going on behind the scenes. But hopefully 1st of August or mid-August we'll have the bond closing. It takes about 30 to 45 days after we adopt the bond resolutions, which will be at the July meeting for Rural Development, to get the final closings. They get what they call closing instructions from the Office of General Counsel. So this is the lawyers for Rural Development telling Blake and Andy it's okay to go ahead and close this loan as long as you do X, Y, and Z, and we'll check those off at the bond closing. And once that happens, then they used to give you a check. Now they just hit a button someplace and the money automatically appears in the account somewhere. So nobody deals with cash or checks anymore. But that'll be the process. So, and then as soon as the bond closing happens and we've got the money in hand, Brian gives the notice to proceed to the contractor, and they have 7 to 10 days to start getting the shovels in the ground.
So you're saying the middle of August now? Brian said the first week of August.
Well,
There are things that are going to.
yeah, we've got, that's all going to depend on.
We gotta get this, oh,
Yeah, that's all going to depend on when Rural Development is ready to go. So.
it's getting later and later. I was under the understanding that they were gonna finish it this year, but now the laterals won't be hooked up till next year.
Well, they could still finish it this year. I mean, we had good weather into November.
And like Brian said, it depends on whether they want to put one crew on, 3 or 4 crews. If we could get them to put a crew on, start at each end with the main, and meet in the middle, and then go to the lateral.
Well, the other thing is regardless, they've given us a fixed price for those laterals, and it's below the amount that the DDA has offered to contribute. So
Whether they put them in this fall.
whether they put them in this fall or next spring, it doesn't matter. They're eating the cost, and they're bringing it in at $391 or whatever the number was. So
The money stays in the bank and the DDA.
and the money stays in the bank and in the DDA till then. So.
But I'm like you, Brian. I'm antsy.
Well, they keep pushing stuff up,
Yeah,
It's been 25 years or whatever you guys say.
yeah. Okay. Any questions for Richard that haven't been answered before we entertain a motion here?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Dean Cruz, support by Malinowski to approve the special assessment resolution number 4. Kevin, you want to call the roll, please?
Walken,
Yes.
Kolonowski.
Yes.
Kirkowski, yes. Ball.
Yes.
Dean Crews.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Brian Crews.
Yes.
Kathy, I'm gonna get you an updated resolution on the award of the bid tomorrow. I'll put resolution number 9 at the top, get your name corrected, and I'll also get you one of these with names in it, and then I'll need several copies certified, and we'll get those ready.
With the seal? You need a
Probably,
seal?
you got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show
Show
you.
the seal. I don't
Yeah,
know.
we have to seal.
Okay, do it before your signature. Seal it, sign it and seal it.
Yeah.
Okay, please,
Yeah,
here,
Tammy's-
hurry.
Yeah, she's sealed something for
Well,
me.
she's a notary,
Yeah.
but this is a regular clerk seal.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's, yeah.
yeah, we don't need a notary, we just,
Need her to do it and then seal.
Speaking of signatures, now, I'm just looking at the mutual aid agreement. The only signature line from the township is for the fire department. Is that all we need, is our fire chief to sign it?
I think that's what they were gonna do, I think that was the plan.
Okay,
Although I know this was at city council to approve.
yeah.
But I certainly had no,
there's a-
Terry, I had no objection if you want to sign it too. In fact, that might be a good idea.
Well, I'm just thinking is to make it binding.
Right, yep,
Kathy or I should sign
Yep.
it.
Yeah,
Right.
he's the one that can enter into
right,
contracts.
yeah, exactly.
So, okay, I'll sign it and then pass it on for June's
Yeah,
signature.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to the signature lines.
I wasn't either until I was
You know,
looking at it.
Yeah, as you can tell, right? Yeah.
At least you didn't misspell my name.
No, it didn't misspell your name.
Okay, that brings us to the last item on our new business, which is approval for the expenditure of $2,107 to Kowalski Distributing Company for a lot of office equipment, and I knew I had it. And let's see, Dean and Kathy and Shirley all went over there, right?
Yeah.
Looked at that stuff.
We got a pretty good deal on everything.
yeah.
Because they gave us the thing and said, put down what you think they're worth.
Thank you so much.
They had put down items too, and we were within $50 of what they expected, so.
And if they're in good
Sealed the deal, they
condition,
might have thrown in a statement for
if they're in good condition, and then you priced all of those items out new, I wouldn't want to think about
I
it.
think we did pretty good.
You're gonna be amazed when you see what all there is.
That'll finish Nelson Street,
Yep.
nothing else.
it. Well, there's a few things, we'll need a computer over there.
For
We
buy
talked
for the
through,
parcels. Yeah.
We got
And a
to
color
talk to
printer.
Larry about this printer.
yep.
But you had discussions with Gordon about whether to go used on that or new, and he said, don't go with used.
We originally had the computer keyboard set up, and we decided, Shirley thought we should call. So that's what we did. And if there's anything else over there, I didn't get a chance to call them on the clerk, please.
Yeah, that's the only other thing I can do.
When do
If
we
there's
have to
anything
get-
else we need, we can let you
She'll
know.
ask.
There's so much we think we need to revise.
And they didn't have a fireproof
They did not.
cabinet over there.
No.
Asked them
For a power washer?
Yeah, didn't ask for a power washer. They did
They're
ask.
still in that office until July 31st.
Yeah, I knew it was
So,
something in July.
I mean, we can keep
I'll make the motion, we go ahead and.
One second.
Okay, we have a motion by Kolonowski, support by Ball, to approve the purchase of office furniture, equipment, and supplies from Kowalski Distributing Company in the amount of $2,107. Any other discussion?
The only thing we need is a big table, so,
Yeah, conference table.
but I think we can get that secondhand.
Okay, Kathy, you wanna call the roll, please?
Ball,
Yes.
Petrowski, yes. Walker,
Yes.
Brian Cruz.
Yes.
Staton,
Yes.
Palmowski,
Yes.
Increase.
Yep.
Okay, public comment. Okay. Anything else to come before the board tonight? Shirley, do you have anything?
I'm not.
Brian?
I just wanted to talk to you about, I talked to the state of Michigan, MDOT, about possible light or signage on the corner of 28th Street and the highway. Krista Phillips is going to do an unofficial study. She's doing 7 counties, so she'll get to it as soon as possible. Unofficial study before the board has to get involved. Traffic count, speed count, and accident count.
There should be one already from, it's a little older.
5 years ago or something.
Yeah, 5
Oh,
or
this
6 years
still
ago
being
they
current.
had one and it didn't meet the requirements for it.
So she's gonna do that again, because she has to come to town and do they're looking to get a light at the casino there at that corner. That T. But anyway, when she gets a chance, she's gonna do that. I talked to her Monday again. It's on her agenda. Before the board has to be involved, it's just unofficial study she's gonna do on her own for accident control. She's the engineer for this district.
Okay.
That's what
Where's she?
Traverse. She's got 7 counties.
What's her name again?
Krista Phillips.
Phillips.
Yep.
You said that options for a light or a speed limit?
Yeah, she looks at the whole package, whether
Okay.
caution light, stop light, signage, you know, to slow traffic down or whatever,
And you get slow traffic way down by Brian's.
whatever, well, that would be where I would think to start.
Right.
And I mentioned to her, we're looking at a sewer system and sewer, you know, for the future, maybe getting a light, slowing down traffic. And she says that has no bearing at all on the state looking at putting in the expense of a light or signage. I thought that would, but she says it has nothing to do with it.
It's 85% of the people drive
Yeah.
on the test.
So when you see
We just, if you'll notice, we just got the speed limit in front of the hospital has been reduced to 45 miles an hour.
No, yeah,
What?
what's out there?
it's the sign says that, but the traffic.
Yeah, well, the traffic doesn't, but I mean, we did our best to talk them into making that 45 all the way from M55 to the casino. They would have nothing to do with that. And so you go 55 for what, quarter of a mile, then you drop to 45, and then you go back to 55.
So she said when you see a vehicle sitting there, it's not a cop, you know, you want to get your friends in there and start doing about 60,
Start
70
driving by.
through there.
Yeah.
Helping it out.
Just keep going around the block.
Yeah, go around the block.
But I don't understand that because conversations I had with MDOT, you know, they talked about the same thing about the percentage of the people that drive a certain speed and the fact that it's not enforceable in court to, you know, write a ticket and so forth. And you know, if the sign says 55 and you're doing 65 and they write you a ticket for that, how is that not enforceable?
I don't know.
But yeah, we're on the same thing with, you know.
Trouble is, they like body counts.
Well, you know, we thought that too.
They said no.
Well, we had a fatal accident at the entry to the hospital. We said, okay, sorry about that, but this is going to get us our light. They said, no. Said you haven't had enough. You had like 3 deaths or
Was it
something.
Mr. Becker, Mrs. Gibson?
I don't.
That you're talking
I
about?
don't
Those two
remember.
people.
It's a double fatal.
Was that brother?
Kitson?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Becker and Mrs. Gibson.
I was going the other day, a guy passed me. I'm doing 45.
We got
I was in a hurry, come on.
They got that blinking speed thing out there now.
Yeah. And we thought, you know, with the ambulance coming out,
Sure.
that would be, you know, you could punch it so that the light would go red and the ambulance could have a green and get out of there and not have to wait for traffic.
They say what they're worried about, she told me, is like the casino, they don't figure they'll get it. Because they'll have more rear-end collisions.
Yeah.
Because you're doing 60, 65 coming into town, you're gonna stop at a stoplight. Then you're gonna do 60, 65 going to the hospital.
But
That's what they're worried about. So they said that ain't gonna happen. But here, where we have a corner, you got that loop curve coming in. It's a little more blinded, you know. She said there might be a possibility because they gotta get that traffic slowed down anyway around that curve, you know.
Yeah, you fix your wood.
But it's up to the state, she said. It's all.
Richard, when does this?
All right, thanks, Brian.
what's that?
When does this other thing get taken care of?
We're working on it. We should have that for your July meeting.
Tom, do you have anything else? Yeah.
August starts Monday, 8:30, so
What's that?
the audit,
Oh, the audit.
we're ready.
Coffee and rolls. Dale?
Nope.
Our July meeting is when?
It's the Thursday, the 6th. It's Tuesday, the 4th. So, Richard, do you have anything else?
I'm good, Terry, thank you.
Okay, then I would entertain a motion for adjournment. Motion by Brian Cruz, support by Dean Cruz. All in favor?
Aye.